Welcome to our second half hour of The Factor Uncensored. A growing pile of sexual assault allegations in the competitive cheerleading world shows a twisted side to the sport that many of us don't know about. Now, in the latest case, the mother of a gymnastic coach is also facing charges. Angela Riker, charged with witness tampering in the investigation. Police say her son, Jonathan Riker, groped and sent shirtless photos of himself to a 15-year-old cheerleader. They also say another 17-year-old claimed he had sex with her. This is just one of many investigations. There are at least 12 federal lawsuits filed nationwide. They all accuse a cheer official of sexual abuse. Let's talk about it. Joining me now, trauma therapist Chow Nguyen, CEO of Houston Cheer and Dance Palace, Mikhail Daly, and the owner of Hurricane Cheer Athletics, Brianna Jackson. Glad to have you all here on The Factor Uncensored. So first of all, you guys who are intimately involved in the industry, are you at all shocked by this? Have you ever heard, and not talking about your business, but have you heard of this going on?
Yes, I've heard of it as of recently, maybe a year ago, for the first time.
A lot of times it depends on where you are, what type of gym you're at. It will get swept under the rug.
You know. And really quick, before we go, Chow, you say swept under the rug. Tell us a little bit more about that.
So, depending on the organization like USASF or different things like that, a lot of times you don't get background checks maybe every 2 years. So with that, somebody could get in trouble or different things like that, and then, oh, okay, I'm gonna skip gyms, hop gyms when I get in trouble over here and keep going. So in a sense, you never get caught.
I think she's talking about systemic failures that at the end of the day hurt the youth, the children, the girls, the little boys who are doing this, hoping for a safe and healthy place to do sports, to cheer, to do these wonderful things. And sadly, when we hear stories like this on the heels of Sexual Assault Awareness Month, which is this month, we are talking about sexual violence and cheer being a possible breeding ground for that. Because think about it, coaches are entrusted, right? There's touching involved. The kids look up to their coaches. There's power dynamics. That's why I say it is potentially a breeding ground for sexual violence and a very scary prospect for parents and everybody who's involved, especially children who have harm done to them.
And how nervous are you guys when you hire and bring someone into your fold, when you have a business and you have so many young girls who are there? Are you concerned? And obviously you do background checks, that's a dumb question, but are you concerned when you bring someone in, and even if they're clean?
So a lot of times, as for me, because I've been doing it for about 10 years now, and so right now, thankfully, I have like 5 or 6 coaches. So a lot of times the coaches are also teachers and educators like myself. So you have to have a background check, you have to go through those steps, and then I encourage the parents, like, talk to your children, have that conversation, because I talk to them all the time. So, like, when you in a mindset, especially in a competitive world, oh, I want my child to be this, I want my child to be this, and so they're not going to talk. They're not going to say anything because they think their spot is going to be taken. But if you have that open conversation with them and say, hey, if you're feeling uncomfortable, if someone is touching you in a certain way that you don't like, you need to say something, and it's okay. Pull me to the side, and we had that conversation.
And child, that's a very important point. The kids know this is important, not just to them, but their parents.
To their parents.
And unfortunately, some of them will take it and deal with it and maybe talk about it later, but
we know that sexual assault is one of the most underreported crimes. Now imagine you're a child, you're in a position where you look up to your coach. He is, or maybe she, is the one who's going to decide your spot. It's scary. They may not speak out. And we also have to talk about the sexual perpetrator not being the boogeyman in the white van. These are entrusted coaches in positions of respect and power. We've seen it in the U.S. Gymnastics League and the scandal with Larry Nassar and all those gymnasts. We're seeing it because, like I said, this could be a breeding ground, and we've got to be careful, and we do have to talk to our kids, and there are policies. I'm sure your businesses have policies in place around coaches not being alone with the kids because they have to touch the kids, right? These are positions where it's athletics, it's competitive. And like you said, Isaiah, these kids are under a lot of pressure and they're going to listen to their authority and they may not speak out. And we've seen that happen time and time again.
I think it's important for the staff to get the proper training and for the staff to have open communication with the parents and the cheerleaders as well. There's a lot of touching, like you said. We have to show them examples, pick them up. You know, we have to put them in stunts and things. And some of the girls might think that it's pretty normal. It's okay at the time, not realizing that this is not appropriate. And so I think it's very important for the girls to have that open communication.
And talk about grooming. You know what grooming is. It's that manipulative behavior. It could start with an innocuous touch and lead to sexual violence.
Yes.
It's the coach saying, hey, you're special. I'm going to isolate you. I'm going to have an opportunity for you and I to be alone. Those are things we have to talk about.
And how are you guys keeping your eyes on your employees when it comes to this situation? You know, I mean, they're not looking at y'all right now. They will look at y'all. But you're keeping your eyes open for this.
Absolutely. One, you have to have trusted coaches that you know a lot of times they have children of their own. The kids, I teach every last student in my classroom and in the cheer room, at the gym, open your mouth and say something. Okay, and I'm looking at you. Oh, you have something to say to me? Come on over here. Let's have that conversation. And to be honest, I think the trainings that we do have for USASF and different things like that, it's all online. The preference would be to sit a coach in a room in a facility and really go over, this is what good touching looks like, this is what bad touching looks like. You know what I'm saying? So other coaches can identify, because the other coaches out there can be intimidated as well.
All right.
Yeah.
We want to thank you guys for joining us here on The Factor Uncensored. Still